A historic church in America is making a major anniversary. Now, the first Catholic church in Virginia is 225 years old. Our newest member to the EWTN News Nightly team, Gabe LaMonica, brings us a story of the Basilica of St. Mary, George Washington, and religious freedom.
This is the oldest Catholic church in Virginia, and the history behind how it got here tells the story of Catholicism in the United States. These tolling bells come at a price. Prior to war for American independence, Catholics in the colonies worshipped in fear and in hiding.
And it was sort of an underground church.
Before 1795, when St. Mary's was founded in this corner of Virginia outside Washington, Catholics here were not allowed to build churches, practicing their faith in private homes.
Our Lady is in the church in many places.
Father Edward Hathaway is the rector of what is now the Basilica of St. Mary.
The founding of this parish ties in with the growth of religious freedom and the history of our nation and the Catholic Church here.
That story of Catholicism in the United States really begins with the man who lived here in Mount Vernon, Virginia. Before George Washington fired that first shot that led to the British defeat and surrender in the Battle of Yorktown, religious liberty was already on his mind.
There were Catholic soldiers and Catholic chaplains in the Revolutionary Army. So they were hoping that all the fighting and everything that they had done during the war and their support of the war effort would be enough to make their fellow citizens let them worship the way they wanted to.
Historian Mary Thompson quotes George Washington in her book about the first president and religion.
The government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under its protection should demean themselves as good citizens.
The commander-in-chief's commitment to religious freedom opened the door to Catholicism in the United States.
But toleration is someone saying, okay, I'm a good guy, and out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to allow you to do, to worship the way you want. And he says, we're past toleration. It's a natural right. Freedom of religion is a natural right. And that's really phenomenal and different than what had happened before.
And the father of our country wasn't all talk. He put money on it.
In one of Washington's financial letters, dated March 17th, 1788, records a gift of £1 10 shillings to the German congregation in Alexandria, quote, towards hiring a house for public worship.
Historians think that St. Patrick's Day donation led to the building of St. Mary's 8 miles north of Mount Vernon. A reward for American Catholics fighting in the War of Independence.
But it's amazing that at the time when Catholics were considered second-class citizens in our country, they were also willing to die, to fight and to die for our nation.
The cemetery here in President Washington's hometown of Alexandria is as old as the church itself.
Another interesting Revolutionary War soldier.
George Lynch walks among the graves of fellow parishioners.
Soldiers from the Revolutionary War, from the Civil War, I think from every war that America has fought. And in the Civil War, we have people that are buried here from both sides, both the North and the South.
A place of faith rooted in history.
I am most affected day to day by the current Catholic family that worships here, that lives here, that serves the poor from here, that are educated here. And in my heart, that's my main thought about this place. But I value very deeply its role in the history of Catholicism and the history of America.
St. Mary's is a Catholic church, but it's a symbol of religious freedom as a natural right in America. Gabe LaMonica, EWTN, Alexandria, Virginia.